The company is called East Consulting. So East Consulting is based in Boston. Okay, East Consulting empowers companies to scale faster by providing expert software, sales support, accounting, and customer service. They hire, train, and manage skilled professionals from South Asia, matching customer needs from a pool of curated and vetted candidates. Their expertise is in SaaS, IoT, and FinTech, and they're recognized globally for that. So we're going to meet Sarah and find out her interesting story. And so we'll be right back with Sarah ROBSON, East Consulting. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back on Global TV Talk Show, and I'm in Southern California, about 100 miles east of downtown LA, and we're in the desert. And so our special guest today is in a different place, a long way from here, over in Islamabad, Pakistan. Here's Sarah ROBSON. Hello.
Hello, Edwin. Thank you for having me today, and I'm delighted to be part of this show. Yeah, you said it right. I'm parts away, based out of Islamabad, Pakistan, a vibrant and dynamic market. Sitting in right. If I talk about myself, so I'm a very from a very young age, I've been very passionate about the ever evolving business world and everything that evolves around it. So I started off my journey since a very young age. If I could remember it right, I was 19 when I started my journey in the corporate world and started off with sales and business development. Currently, I hold like 15 years of experience doing that. If I talk about my initial years, it was a kind of bumpy ride. Um, you could tell that there was no technology like today. If you go 15 years back, uh, people with sales struggled a lot while getting what is going to work out and what's not going to work out. So it was a struggle, but it was definitely a learning path for me to grow, learn, and work in different countries. So I've worked in London, I worked in Canada, I worked in the US mainly, and these are the countries that I have my expertise and knowledge working. I've gained my associate's bachelor's degree in economics from Pakistan, and since like 15 years, I've been doing the blood and sweat challenge in sales. If I say it
Yeah,
the right way, you know how
yeah.
it is, all the pressure, all the challenges, rejection, objections, following me all the time. So it's absolutely a great exposure I got from different countries, working with my clients internationally. So yeah, that's about me pretty much, sweet and short.
Good. Thank you very much. So I want to ask you now about East Consulting. I've been on the site and I've been on your LinkedIn. And so you help companies who want to expand, and yet the costs and the risks are astronomical when a company needs to be compliant, and
Mhm.
it's just full of minefields, potholes, and danger and risk. So your company, East Consulting, very technical, IT-oriented, solution-oriented for companies who want to expand, and you can help them do it legally, and you offer choices, employer of record or PEO, professional employment organization, or something else. Why don't you tell me the difference? Well, first of all, describe better than I just did what the primary service is in helping a company that may be here in Southern California is this a back office or is this a new office?
Okay, well, you did a great job explaining that. I'll just
Thank you.
elaborate it a bit. So we are both an EOR and PEO provider. Okay, and if you talk about the difference, the main difference between PEO or EOR is that a PEO acts as a co-employer, while an EOR is the legal employer of an organization's distributed workforce. Right?
What's a co-employer?
Co-employers like I'm getting the employee on behalf of you, so they're our co-employer, right? Co-employee as well. So we work with you as an employer, right? So we co-employer, both of us, and I hire a resource for you, right? As a co-employer. And EOR is like the legal employer of the organization's workforce. So we would be the legal employer, but the resource would be working full-time for you without any interference or any complications. So you got
So,
the both
I'm,
options.
I would outsource. Either way, it's an outsource.
Yeah, but with EOR, it's like we manage everything for you, right? We manage compliance, taxes, benefit, all the perks, all the HR administrative tasks that's on your shoulders, right? We take that off. We take the responsibility of managing the whole process for you, right? Legally. That includes the legal law employment locally. For example, if an employer is in US, we are gonna do everything legally the way it's done there. The only difference would be the resource would be here. There is no other difference.
Okay,
Because
so yeah.
we've done this before, so it's very seamless and smooth for us, but for the person who's not aware of EOR or PEO, it's going to be complicated, but it's not. It sounds complicated, but it's completely very simple.
What about the tax?
Oh, it's taken care of as it's taken care of locally. There's no difference. I mean, there's no complications. We follow the rules and regulations that the local employees in US would follow, or the employer would follow, or we follow the same rules with the taxes and compliance and everything.
So now, so let's just say I'm going to do this, and I don't know which method to use. So I'm not. I'm going to have a back office essentially in Pakistan.
We would be our legal subsidiary if you talk about EOR, right? You don't have to have a legal entity here, right? You don't have to put that money in opening a legal entity in any other country. When you have an EOR, you have the legal entity in that country without investing a penny, right? So we would act as your legal entity, kind of a subsidiary for you, right? Making your employees have a place, have a culture, have all the perks and benefits that a US employee have. But the approach is to not give you a cheap labor. That's totally wrong. If you call it cheap labor, I would disagree. Why? Because it's not cheap. It's a competitive market. The labor here is cheap because of the country and its economic growth and everything else involved, right? I don't want to go down that road, but you know how it is. It's competitively lower than if you hire an employee in US, but the quality is top tier. The talent would be 3% top talent. You would get the same expertise, the same level of education, same level of experience. So there's no compromise in the quality that we are offering, right? So it doesn't make a huge difference if you think of the idea of having your employees in Pakistan. There's no difference because the expertise and everything would be of the same level. But yeah, it's going to be cost effective. If I give you an example, Edwin, I'll take you as an example. If you have started off a business, um, I'd say self-employed, and you suddenly, you know, boost, you got yourself rolling out, people are engaging and people are looking at you, and you feel like, you know, you need 4 or 5 people to take care of a lot of things that you're doing right now alone. There's there Then that's the point where we come in, we jump in, and we take care of that. We let you do your core business. We let you nurture your leads. We let you focus on what your goals are, and rest of the things are our responsibility. We take care of that. How easy is that for you not to understand the concept of, you know, having an EOR partner rather than you doing the grind yourself all alone? I mean, how does that sound to you?
Yeah, that sounds perfectly clear. And, you know,
Keeping the cost effectiveness in mind, that it's going to cost you approximately 80% more if you get a local employee, like hired locally.
to do
So
the
you
same work. Yeah.
to do the same work, but if you talk about South Asia, right, you'll be saving 75 to 80% each month. That makes a huge difference in your profitability and your ROI as well. So that's the bottom line. That's the value.
Yeah. So I have to tell you just a quick little story. Uh, Many years ago, I was in publishing magazines, print, glossy, color. And so I was the owner and also the editor. And then we hired a printer to manufacture with design and printing in California or Texas or Kansas or someplace. And then I met a gentleman from Seoul, Korea at the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, where I was active. And he says, I can save you money by printing your magazines in Korea. And I live here in LA, he said, but my family and my business is, and the factory is in Korea. And so the cost is,
Really
you know,
effective.
yeah, very
Yeah.
effective. So
And
I took,
you wouldn't have to compromise on the quality as well.
no, it was even better. So,
Yeah,
and at 60 to 70% lower than what I was paying.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I did that. And so
Good
we
on you.
we printed across the years probably 1 million magazines
Oh,
over there, and we saved quite a bit of money. And it was good. And then came the internet, and so everything changed. And no more. Well, anyway, I've got into doing other things. So I'm very familiar with the idea of outsourcing
yeah,
a specific portion of the business. But
absolutely.
so the concept of what you're doing now is for bigger businesses, and the worry of managing people to do the work, the expense, the concern, the expertise for the technical aspects. This is what we're talking about: is saving money and by offshoring a portion.
Yeah,
And yet with the internet and communications like this, it's direct and it's personal without having to be in the room. We are in the room here. This is like a global meeting room right here.
exactly. Because see, Edwin, growth is a journey, and it requires a well-crafted strategic plan. Without that, I mean, it's going to be a challenge to grow your business as well. Um, you really need resources that are capable of boosting business for you on terms when you talk about cost effectiveness as well. So what I just want to share quickly, I was on a discovery call with a client, and the call was really smooth and everything was going well. He seemed pretty much interested and all excited about, moving forward. What I did is like I just took a deep breath and, collected my thoughts, and I stopped and I said that, before I move forward, I'd like to, just mention one important point here. He goes like, I mean, what would be most important point? We were supposed to move forward. I was like, um, there is one non-negotiable principle that we have, and we do not compromise on that. And he goes like, what it is? I told him that, it's the culture. We are non-negotiable on that. We do not negotiate on the culture that we've built. It's going to be same for every employee that's on the floor. We do not compromise on that. Rest, everything is negotiable. So he was so happy to hear that he's stepping into. Usually, why I'm sharing this is that business leaders and innovators, creators are always concerned about the culture, right? I mean, they always think of the culture, that if they have employees in another country, what culture they'll be in, how they'd be getting treated, and whatnot. I mean, you can think of 100 things, right? But that's what I'm more concerned, rather than, I'm more focused on business. I'm focused on the culture, because that's the key to success for your business.
Now,
If your
your
employees, yeah,
culture in Pakistan, Islamabad, is intertwined with your life,
yeah,
and so it's what you live and breathe,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
you bring that to the business.
Absolutely. Let me just tell you about this. So we have a 6,000 square feet of area, like an office space. It's similar to WeWork brick by brick. It's ISO certified. We have a three-layer security. We've got high-speed internet. There's nothing complicated about that. If somebody thinks about that, Islamabad, Pakistan, they've like million questions popping their minds up, blowing them off. But that's how it is. It's similar to WeWork, all the standards, brick by brick, everything is kind of, we've maintained the highest standard that we could. And employees here are treated with a specific standard that's been followed in the market, right? We've got the mindset of providing all the perks and benefits that's important for having a healthy and strong culture. We do not compromise on that. Rest, I'm pretty much open to negotiate on everything.
Well, I thank you for your time, Sarah, and I've learned a lot, and I enjoy meeting you. And
Thanks, Edwin.
it adds to the value and quality of my life to know you, at least a little. And so that's
Likewise.
yeah, so sweet. Thank you. Okay, so I invite you, and I'll send you the link to our primary sites so you can check it out. Global Business News, all one word, .net.
Okay.
That's our homepage, and you'll learn all about us right there. We have hundreds and hundreds of pages on that site, and
Perfect.
it's all free access. And then our specific TV site is globaltvtalkshow.com.
Okay.
And then we have a radio, and that's globalradiotalkshow.com.
Okay.
Now that I began that with another guy in 2010. And that, of course, preceded pandemic and way before Zoom. So we were doing radio show stuff, which is the same as TV or Zoom. I call it TV because that's what it is. And so we're very familiar, just like you are, and East Consulting is very familiar with what needs to get done to do it correctly. with
Yeah,
minimum risk. Well,
absolutely.
what I do here, because of the years of experience in doing public relations and marketing and advertising within the world of global HR and global talent development, training, retention, deployment, and all the
Yeah,
services that go in to support those activities, we provide a pathway for communications today, primarily using Zoom and what I call global TV. So thank you for your time and for being my guest today on Global TV Talk Show. And I'll send you the program link for your review and for your own
okay.
use. And
Thank you for having me today, Edwin. It was a pleasure speaking to you
thank
and
you.
great insight on what you're doing. You're doing an absolutely great job. I definitely gonna wish you all the best.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing that.
And I look forward to your review and our next conversation.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.